Hi everyone, Michelle Grace here with a new moon report for the new moon in Capricorn on January 16th, 2018. I'm going to share my screen with you so you'll be able to see the chart for this new moon. And as I said in my newsletter, if you read the post along with this is probably one of the most important lunations in terms of the new moons. I would say not necessarily the most, but a really critical one for setting intentions. If you started off the new year with New Year's resolutions, this new moon would actually be the moon to turn those resolutions into clear intentions for your life and for the year ahead. And there's a couple of reasons why. Number one, this new moon is in between the full moon that we started off the year with and the first eclipse, which happens with the full moon at the end of this month. So on January 31st, there will be an eclipse full moon in this Leo Aquarius axis, which is the place where the moon's nodes are traveling right now. And the second reason is that this is a new moon in Capricorn, and Capricorn has an intense amount of energy in it and has a huge place of transformation in each person's Capricorn house. So if you don't know what house is Capricorn for you, feel free to sign up for a reading. And when I draw your birth chart, Capricorn will be one of these houses. And in this example, this is the actual moon, which will be with a Leo rising. And so that places Capricorn in the 6th house. And the 6th house is the house of daily work, daily health, and has many more meanings than that. But I want to speak to the daily work of our lives. And if you were to imagine, rather than segregating work to being a job or a career that you pursue, that whatever you do with yourself, with your life energy on a daily basis is your work. Whether you're a mother raising children, whether you are a corporate executive, whoever you are in this place in life, there's something that each and every day you're giving your energy to. So this new moon invites us to set intentions around what for this year, and especially for the coming 6 months, what are we going to set our attention on, our focus on? And Capricorn has a lot to do with discipline and structures. And, the image of Capricorn is the goat climbing up the mountain. For this particular lunation, the Sabian symbol is a mountain pilgrimage. So if you imagine you are embarking on a pilgrimage that is your daily life, where would you be going? What route would you be taking? Who would be going with you? What supplies do you need? What tools do you need? What nourishment, what provisions do you need to have on a daily basis in order to take this pilgrimage? That is the energy of this moon, in that taking a really hard look at your life and your daily energy and seeing, where do I want to put my energy over the next year? I have this huge possibility and potential for building something great, particularly with Saturn in this house for the next 3 years. And it's important to note that Pluto has been going through the Capricorn house for the last several years. He is the Lord of death and rebirth. So he's moving through this house, kind of plowing through all the shadow and, dissolving all the things that are no longer serving us in this house. And Saturn's now moving in saying, okay, well, what do you want to build? And do you have a plan for that? And have you hired an architect? And Do you know where things are going to go in your life? If you're rearranging your daily life after a major couple of years of a death and a rebirth in your life where things have been stripped away, where maybe the self that you thought you knew is no longer as present, this moon invites you to really intend, who am I becoming? What am I to do? What have what do I feel I'm ready to put my energy, my life energy in my daily work in service to? And to begin making the appropriate choices, changes, taking the necessary steps. It's like if you want to run a business and you have this dream of a beautiful organization that you create, or if you want to launch a project, you actually have to lay out what are the steps that I need to take in order to run this business, and how is it going to thrive, the organization financially, and what resources do I need, and what are the networks and people that I'm connected to who can support this vision, who am I meant to work with. Like, these questions are up for reflection, and then drilling that down to, on a daily basis, what do I give my energy to, and what do I choose for myself anew. There may be long-standing habits and cycles and patterns that you've been participating in that maybe for some time have said, this isn't actually working. This choice to do this doesn't support my health, or this choice to work with this place or in this company doesn't feel good to me anymore. And all of that is information giving us a direction. Okay, if I have a dream to start doing something new, what do I need to study? What must I learn in order to be able to do that? And Saturn demands mastery. He says, if you want to do that thing, you've got to master it. And that starts from being where you are in the beginning. We're in the early degrees of Saturn in Capricorn. So this is the beginning of learning, what's the lesson plan for the next 3 years? What do I need to study for the next 3 years? How do I apply myself on a daily basis, committed to this study, as if I was getting a master's degree or a graduate degree in life, in daily life? And Saturn teaches hard lessons. If you're the disciplined student who shows up every day and reads the material and does the homework, you get an A plus from Saturn. And if you have habitual patterns of avoiding the work, or of skipping out on the homework part, or not, like when I was in college, I really struggled with algebra, and it was one of those necessary things to get a bachelor's degree in business management. I had to pass college algebra, and I ultimately failed it the first 2 times that I tried. And then I found the right teacher who could explain the material to me in the right way, and I mastered it. And I even got a good grade in something that I ended up never using again, really. But it was the same thing when I became a certified financial planner. It was a long, hard process of learning about financial planning and becoming a master of that work, and then being able to teach others because I had mastered something, and being able to be of service to more people because I really knew my material. This is what Saturn is asking, but he's asking it as it relates to your daily life. So if you desire something, a new relationship, a new house, a new career, what do you need to learn? If you're desiring a new relationship and you're just coming off of a Pluto transit where Pluto has dissolved your past relationship and brought up all the shadows of power and control and, issues of repression and suppression, well, what is it? What's your intention for going into a new relationship? Before you even meet the partner or the person that might be a lover, or might be someone marry or do something like that, there is in intensive looking at yourself. The moon when it's new is an inward drawing time. So we're going in and looking at ourselves and looking at our deep desires, and then saying, once there's some light in the moon, this is what I intend to give my energy to. And this is so supported by Venus, who's really in close connection. You can see she's at 28 degrees of Capricorn, the moon at 26, the sun at 26. So all of our personal planets, Venus, Sun, Moon, and Mercury, are in the house of Capricorn. This means that there is intense energy there for you to work with. And if you're wanting a personal reading and you want to go more deeply into your life and where this Capricorn house is and what you might be working on, there is a link to my website, which is michellegraceastrology.com. You can book a reading. I do readings by donation. It's a suggested donation of $80, but no one is turned away for lack of funds. And I will calculate your birth chart, and we'll go through and look at where is this happening and what does this mean for the next 3 years coming up. Pluto and Saturn will be making conjunction in 2020. These are big changes that will ultimately be the building blocks of the structure of long-term goals, not necessarily just 3 years out, but 5 years, 10 years, things that might even affect you for 30 years time. The full Saturn transit all the way around the zodiac takes 29 and a half years. So this really could be the beginnings of a 30-year cycle. And when we speak about moon cycles, it's 28 days, which corresponds very closely to, year by year, the cycle of the Saturn cycle. And it also, it points to a 6-month cycle where 6 months from now there will be a full moon in Capricorn. So just keeping in mind these cycles and the timing of certain goals, if you're building a lifelong dream, it may take 10 or 20 or 30 years to see the full fruition of that dream. And you have to start somewhere. And now is where to start. I would say now is where to start. Especially as we are all committed citizens to building a new world that we can live in, now is where we have to start with what are the structures, what is the study, what is the work that I am here to do, because we each have our own personal contribution to the world at hand. And what is the shadow work I have to do over the next 3 years? And you may not know, when the moon is dark, sometimes we can't see things clearly, but at least between now and 6 months from now, when we have that full moon that will be on the opposite end of this is where we move from knowing and source. This is where we move between what we know we're here to do and the source that is calling us to do that work. And in that process, we learn about ourselves. We may have lessons that come along with this transit that are life-changing. So I really encourage you, to whatever degree you can, get clear about your intentions for the next 6 months, about what you're reaching towards, what that mountain is that you're getting ready to climb. Start packing your bags, start collecting your tools, start notifying your community. This is where I'm reaching towards. This is the pilgrimage, the journey that I'm going on. And do that knowing that divine grace is guiding you in that calling from that place of source, this cosmic womb that we all emerge from. A divine grace brings us all here, and I believe, and we have a path before us that may have tremendous challenges, unforeseen challenges, things that we cannot prepare for. However, we can be in our process of learning as a constant daily practice. And so I encourage you to find what that is for you. And I send you a lot of love and many new moon blessings. Take good care of yourself on your journey. And if you would like to schedule a personal reading, please reach out either through email or on my website. Go and book a reading. I look forward to connecting with you, and I send you off with many blessings on your journey.